This video is not just about silence. It is about power. Because once you truly understand silence, you stop behaving like everybody else. You stop reacting instantly. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. You stop seeking attention. And slowly, people start feeling your presence without you saying much. But the sad reality is, most people today cannot stay silent even for 5 minutes. The moment life becomes quiet, they grab their phone. They open Instagram, they play music, they text random people, anything to escape silence. And do you know why? Because silence forces you to face yourself, your fears, your overthinking, your insecurity, your reality. That is why people are addicted to noise, because noise distracts, but silence reveals. Think about the calmest person you have ever seen. Maybe a leader, a businessman, an athlete, or someone whose presence felt powerful. One thing was common in all of them. They were not desperate for attention. They did not react to everything. They spoke less, but when they spoke, people listened carefully. And that is the power most people never develop. Because today's world teaches you how to talk more, but nobody teaches you how to stay silent. And trust me, the person who masters silence starts controlling situations differently. They think better, they observe more, they make fewer mistakes, and they become mentally dangerous. So in this video, we are going to understand the 5 real powers of silence. And after that, I will show you how to master silence in real life. Because silence is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming unshakable. Now, let's understand the first power of silence. Power number 1, emotional control. Most people do not lose opportunities because they are weak. They lose opportunities because they cannot control emotions. One small insult and they react. One small argument and they lose control over words. One bad moment and they destroy relationships they built for years. That is why emotional control is one of the most powerful skills in life, and silence helps you build it. Let me give you a real example. Imagine 2 employees working in the same office. Both are talented, but one day their boss criticizes them in front of everyone. The first employee reacts instantly. He starts defending himself. He becomes emotional. He keeps talking. He tries to prove he is right. And slowly, the entire situation becomes awkward. People stop seeing confidence in him. They start seeing insecurity. But the second employee, he stays calm. He listens carefully. He does not react immediately. He simply says, "Understood, I will improve it." And then he quietly goes back to work. Now tell me honestly, which person looks more powerful? The one who lost control, or the one who controlled himself under pressure? Exactly, because silence creates stability, and stable people are respected everywhere. In relationships, in business, in leadership, in life. Think about it. When someone reacts emotionally, you can control them easily. You know exactly how to trigger them. But calm people are different. You cannot easily control someone who knows how to stay silent. And that is why silent people often feel dangerous, because they do not give their emotions away instantly. They observe first, they think first, and then they respond. And trust me, that small difference can completely change your life. Power number 2. Silence increases focus. And in today's world, focus is becoming rare. Most people cannot sit with one task for even 10 minutes. They constantly switch. Phone, notifications, messages, reels, music. Their brain never becomes still. And because of that, their mind never goes deep. But silence changes this. When you reduce noise, your thinking becomes sharper. You start noticing things that distracted people never notice. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine 2 students preparing for the same exam. The first student studies with constant distractions. He checks his phone every few minutes. He keeps watching random videos. He studies, but his brain is scattered. Now the second student, he sits alone quietly. No unnecessary noise, no social media, no constant stimulation, just deep focus. And slowly, something powerful starts happening. He starts understanding concepts faster. He remembers more. He thinks clearly, because his mind is no longer overloaded. And this does not only apply to studies, it applies to everything. Business, gym, sports, creativity, work. Every successful person has the ability to go deep without distractions. That is why some people work for 10 hours and still achieve nothing, while others work for 2 focused hours and completely outperform them. Because depth is more powerful than busyness, and silence creates depth. Think about the moments when your best ideas came. Usually, it was not during noise. It was during silence, while walking alone, while sitting quietly, while thinking deeply. Because silence gives space for your mind to think clearly. And once you develop this ability, your productivity changes, your creativity changes, and slowly, your entire life starts changing. Power number 3. Silence makes you more valuable. Most people talk too much. They explain too much. They react too much. They try too hard to be noticed. And slowly, their words lose value. Because when something is always available, people stop respecting it. Let me give you a simple real-life example. Imagine 2 people in a group conversation. The first person keeps talking nonstop. He comments on everything. He interrupts others. He constantly tries to be funny. He wants attention all the time. At first, people may laugh. But after some time, they stop taking him seriously because he talks without weight. Now look at the second person. He speaks less. He listens carefully. He observes everyone. He does not try to force attention. But when he finally says something, everyone listens. Why? Because his words feel important. Think about a diamond. A diamond is valuable because it is rare. If diamonds were lying everywhere on the street, nobody would care about them. And your words work the same way. The more unnecessary words you use, the less impact your words carry. But when you choose your words carefully, people automatically pay attention. That is why Calm people often look more confident. They are not desperate to prove themselves. They know their value does not come from speaking nonstop. It comes from presence, and trust me, real confidence is quiet. Loud people often speak to gain validation, but truly confident people do not need constant attention. They stay calm, they stay controlled, and because of that, their presence feels powerful. Power number 4. Silence improves your relationships. And most people completely misunderstand this. They think good communication means talking more. But real connection comes from understanding more. And silence helps you do that. Let me give you a real life example. Imagine someone close to you is going through a difficult time. Maybe your friend, your partner, your family member. They come to you emotionally broken, wanting to express what they feel. Now, what do most people do? They instantly start giving advice. Do this, forget about it, move on, you are overthinking. They keep talking without truly listening. And slowly, the other person stops feeling understood. But now imagine someone different, someone who stays calm, someone who listens carefully. They are not interrupting, they are not trying to sound smart, they are simply present. And sometimes they say only one sentence: I understand. And strangely, that silence heals more than 1,000 unnecessary words. Because people do not always need solutions. Sometimes they just need to feel heard. And this is why people trust calm individuals more. They feel safe around them. Because calm people listen deeply, they observe emotions, they understand energy, they do not react to every small thing. And because of that, their relationships become stronger. Think about it. How many relationships are destroyed simply because people react emotionally? They speak in anger, they speak without thinking, and later, they regret everything. But silence changes this. It gives you space to think before damaging someone with words. And trust me, one controlled moment of silence can save years of relationship. Power number 5. Silence makes you mentally dangerous. And no, I do not mean dangerous in a negative way. I mean hard to break, hard to control, hard to manipulate. Because the moment you master silence, you stop reacting like everybody else. Let me give you a real life example. Imagine 2 men facing failure. The first man panics immediately. He complains, he blames people, he keeps talking about his problems, and slowly his emotions take control over him. But the second man, he becomes quiet. He starts observing. He starts thinking deeply. He studies the situation calmly. And while everybody else is distracted by emotions, he is preparing his next move. That is why calm people often become powerful, because they do not waste energy reacting to everything. They save energy for action. Look at the most respected people in the world: strong leaders, successful businessmen, elite athletes. Most of them are not emotionally loud. They are controlled. When pressure comes, they do not collapse instantly. They stay calm long enough to think clearly. And that ability changes everything. Because life is not won by the loudest person. It is won by the person who can stay calm under pressure. And silence teaches you that. It teaches patience. It teaches emotional discipline. It teaches self-control. And slowly, you become someone who no longer needs validation from the world. Because once your mind becomes calm, people lose the power to disturb you. Now, you understand why silence is powerful. But here's the real question. How do you actually master silence? Because silence is not something you fake for 5 minutes. It is a mindset, a habit, a form of self-control. And most people fail because they try to look calm externally while their mind is still full of chaos. That is why mastering silence starts from inside. And in this part of the video, I will give you 5 practical rules that will help you build the power of silence in real life. Not fake silence, real silence. The kind of silence that gives you control, focus, respect, and inner peace. So, let's start with the first rule. Rule number 1, control your inputs. Because your mind becomes whatever you constantly consume. If your brain consumes noise all day, your mind will never become silent. Think about it honestly. From the moment most people wake up, their brain is under attack. Instagram, reels, notifications, music, drama, arguments, random videos. Their mind never gets a moment of peace. And then they wonder why they cannot focus, why they overthink, why they feel mentally exhausted. Because a noisy input creates a noisy mind. Let me give you a real life example. Imagine 2 people starting their morning. The first person wakes up and instantly grabs his phone. He starts scrolling, he watches random content, he consumes negativity, he fills his brain with noise before the day even begins. And slowly, his mind becomes distracted. He cannot focus deeply. He reacts emotionally. He feels mentally tired all day. Now look at the second person. He wakes up quietly. No phone, no instant stimulation. He sits with his thoughts. He reads something useful. He starts the day calmly. And because of that, his mind stays clear. He thinks better. He reacts less. He stays more controlled. Because silence does not begin from your mouth. It begins from your environment. And this is why you must become careful about what enters your mind. Because every piece of content you consume is shaping your personality. That is why people who constantly consume chaos slowly become chaotic themselves. But people who consume knowledge, depth, and silence slowly become calm and powerful. Rule number 2, learn the power of the pause. Most people speak too fast. They react instantly. They answer instantly. They become emotional instantly. And because of that, they lose control over conversations. But calm people do something differently. They pause, just for a few seconds. And that small pause changes everything. Let me give you a real life example. Imagine someone insults you in public. The average person reacts immediately. he becomes emotional. He starts defending himself. He keeps talking without thinking. And slowly, he loses respect. Because emotional reactions make you look weak. But now imagine someone different. He hears the insult, but instead of reacting instantly, he stays silent for a moment. He looks calm. He thinks carefully. And then he responds with control. Suddenly, the entire energy changes because now he is no longer reacting emotionally. He is responding consciously. And trust me, people feel that difference immediately. That is why a calm pause feels powerful. It shows that your emotions are under control, and people respect emotional control. Even in normal conversations, this changes your presence. When someone asks you something, do not rush to answer instantly. Take a small pause, think, and then speak clearly. You will notice your words start carrying more weight, because controlled speech always sounds more powerful than nervous speech. And this simple habit can completely change the way people see you. Rule number 3, spend time alone in silence. Because if you cannot sit alone with yourself, you will never truly understand your mind. And this is exactly what most people avoid. The moment they become alone, they search for distraction. Phone, music, videos, constant noise. Because silence feels uncomfortable to them. But do you know why? Because silence exposes everything. Your fears, your overthinking, your insecurity. And most people spend their entire life running away from that feeling. But powerful people do the opposite. They sit with themselves, and slowly they become mentally stronger. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine 2 people after a stressful day. The first person immediately distracts himself. He scrolls social media for hours, he watches random videos, he keeps filling his brain with noise. And for some time, he forgets his stress. But deep inside, his mind remains restless. Now look at the second person. He sits quietly for some time. No phone, no music, no distractions. At first, his mind feels uncomfortable. But slowly, his thoughts become clearer. He starts understanding himself better. He starts calming down naturally. Because silence gives your mind space to breathe. And this is why some of the deepest ideas come during silence, while walking alone, while sitting quietly, while observing life calmly. Because your mind thinks differently when noise disappears. So if you truly want to master silence, learn to spend time alone without constantly escaping yourself. Rule number 4, observe more than you speak. Most people are so busy trying to be heard that they never truly observe anything. They interrupt, they react quickly, they keep waiting for their turn to speak. And because of that, they miss important details. But silent people are different. They watch carefully. They notice expressions. They notice energy. They notice behavior. And slowly, they start understanding people better. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine 2 friends meeting someone new. The first person talks non-stop. He keeps trying to impress. He keeps sharing everything about himself. He barely notices the other person. But the second person, he stays calm. He listens carefully. He observes body language. He notices confidence. He notices insecurity. And within minutes, he understands the person more deeply. Because when you stay silent, your attention becomes sharper. And this skill is powerful everywhere. In business, in relationships, in leadership. Because people reveal themselves when you stop talking so much. Think about smart negotiators. They do not rush to speak. They observe first. They let the other person reveal emotions, and that gives them control. That is why people who observe deeply usually make better decisions, because they see things that emotional people completely miss. And trust me, the person who understands people always has an advantage in life. Rule number 5, stop explaining yourself to everyone. One of the biggest signs of inner weakness is the constant need to be understood. Most people waste huge amounts of energy trying to explain themselves to the world. They explain their decisions, they explain their goals, they explain their lifestyle. And slowly, they become emotionally dependent on validation. But silent people understand something powerful. Not everyone needs access to your mind. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine a person starting something new, maybe a business, a fitness journey, a dream. The first person keeps announcing everything. He tells everyone his plans. He constantly explains what he is doing. He seeks approval from people. And when someone doubts him, he becomes emotionally affected because now his confidence depends on other people's opinions. But the second person, he works quietly. He does not feel the need to explain every move. He lets results speak. And slowly, people stop laughing. They start respecting him because silent action always looks stronger than loud promises. Think about truly successful people. Most of them do not waste energy proving themselves every day. They focus on work, they focus on growth, they stay consistent quietly, and eventually, their results speak louder than words. That is why silence protects your energy. The less you explain yourself unnecessarily, the more mentally free you become. And trust me, peace begins when you stop needing everyone to understand you. So after everything you heard in this video, I want you to remember one thing. Silence is not weakness. It is control. The world teaches people to react quickly, to speak constantly, to seek attention all the time. But real strength is calm. Real strength is being able to stay peaceful when everything around you is noisy. Because the moment you stop reacting to everything, your mind starts becoming free. You think clearly. You observe deeply. You stop wasting energy on unnecessary things. And slowly, you become someone who cannot be easily controlled by emotions. That is the real power of silence. So from today, stop running away from silence. Spend some time alone. Observe your thoughts. Control your words. And learn to stay calm under pressure. Because once you master silence, you start mastering yourself. And trust me, a person who has control over himself becomes unstoppable. If this video changed the way you see silence, then make sure to subscribe to Silent Strength. And if you truly connected with this message, like this video, because it helps this message reach more people. And comment below, what is one thing you want to become silent about in life? Until then, stay calm, stay focused, and protect your peace.